Hey guys, Pete Ramsey here. Listen, if you are struggling with employees, getting everybody moving in the same direction, if you're struggling with sales, trying to get your customers to buy in to your company, your services, your offer, or just your business in general and you in general, in growth, I think you're really going to like this, the message today. And it starts with a couple of stories actually. Back when I was in high school, I was in a PE class, and I had a very special teacher. Her name was Mrs. Bowman. She's straight out of university, 23 years old, 24, something like that. And she had a major influence on us because she was really into the physical part of life, and she wanted to push us through things. And one of the things that we're doing, it started off with this. We were being measured for the 100-yard dash. And so if you've done this, they pair you off and you'll run right beside somebody and they'll time you, right? And I was running, I remember this. So I'm running, I'm next to this guy, and we're neck and neck. And I'm thinking, I'm faster than this guy. And I adjusted my stride slightly and I started to pull away. And so I deepened that adjustment. I really started pulling away, and I beat him handily. But it was her reaction that blew me away. And don't judge her for this. It's a different generation way back then. She runs up and she hugs me. She's never done this before. Jumping up and down, so excited. She says, "Pete, do you realize that you're the fastest white boy out of all my classes?" And I'm thinking, we're 15 years old. We don't think like that back then. And so anyway, that was lesson number one. Got 2 lessons out of that I'm going to come back to. Lesson number 2, we were in a class with her later, and we're doing long distance running. And she says, "I want you to experience what's called your second wind, or the runner's high. And I'm going to make sure that each of you experience this." And we didn't know what she was talking about. So she had a way in her training where we're running, and she would push us. And it's time to quit. I can't go any farther, right? But she had a way to get us to go through that. And it kicked in. I remember it was like these endorphins is what they were. Release, and all of a sudden I could run forever, and we just went right on with the run, and it was fantastic. Okay, it was something I never experienced before, and I'm only 15 years old, so I didn't have much experience to speak of, but it sure helped me when I joined the Army later. They put me in the fastest running class, etc. and so forth. But that leads me to the final story. I'm driving with my company commander, because I was the company driver briefly. And he was Captain, what's his name? Really nice guy. And we're talking about racquetball. It comes up because I had just taken the sport up. At the gym, basketball was my game. But it was so full, and there were so many of us playing that whenever you cycled out, your cool down was there, and then you weren't warmed. It was just, but we noticed that the racquetball rooms were always empty. So Buddy Bill and I decided, hey, let's try racquetball, right? And we got in there knocking the ball around. We didn't know what we were doing, and we enjoyed it. So we learned the rules, and we had this competition going. And he'd win one, and I'd win one. It was kind of back and forth, right? And this went on for a period of time. But I was talking to the captain in the car, and he says, "We should play sometime." But he says, "First, do me a favor. He says, go over to the post library, check out a book on the basics of racquetball, and see what that does for your game." And I remember thinking, it's a book. This is sports. They're 2 different things. What is that going to do for me? But it dawned on me, some key people in my life that were avid readers, and they generally were better overall at everything. So I said, okay, I went and got the book, and I read through the fundamentals, and I started understanding these strategies and where to position yourself and where to hit the ball and all these different tactics. So I brought that in with me up here next time I played Bill. And needless to say, I beat Bill very easily. Bill could never beat me again, and he was so mad. He didn't understand what I was doing. I went on to play in the post-tournament. I took second place, and I lost to him, and I was pissed because I knew I was better. When you win, when somebody beats you and you know that you should have won, it was one of those things. I had excuses. I just pulled 24-hour CQ, they called it, and then went out and tried to play it. Anyway, whole other story. But those are my 3 lessons. And this is called a paradigm shift. Paradigm shift. And you may think you know what this is. Hear me out. On the first lesson, running the 100-yard dash, I was able to adjust internally through action, through trying, right? I actually physically had to do something. I made the adjustment, and guess what? I knew I was faster than I was. Now, how was that viewed through the filters of somebody else, my PE teacher? Okay, she saw it as good, but she saw it differently than I saw it. I saw it as a bigger thing than she did. She limited me through her experience. And I didn't need that limitation. I was much bigger than that. Number two, the second win. I learned that when you push up to a point, you feel like you can't push through it, you've got to continue through in order to get that next level where it does actually get easier, right? So learn to push through those ceilings and get to the next level. And finally, racquetball. If you take practical experience, actually getting out there and doing something, and you combine that with a better insight, a better strategy, oh, you can take things to the next level. But one without the other are just not the same. You know, you can go read a book, what's the old saying about riding a bicycle all day long, but it doesn't mean you can get out there and do that. You're going to have to combine these in order to have a true paradigm shift, right? There's mindset, and then there's the actual shift through beliefs. Now, once you understand that, and you understand your need as a business owner, as a leader, to go through these shifts personally, you've got to understand that you're not the only one in your organization. What about your employees? Yeah, you sit them in a classroom. Good for you. You got to train them. But are you giving them a true shift in their beliefs so they can go out there and deliver? Or are you running into employees that are saying, I'm not going to do that? Maybe not to your face, they don't say that, but behind your back, I'm not going to do that. I'm a technician. I'm not this. I'm not a salesman, right? Have you given them the shift that they need in order to believe in what you're doing? What about your customers? When you're out trying to convince them to buy your program, your system, your design, your installation, your company, they have beliefs coming into this. What have you done that allows a shift, not just consciously? The conscious part is easy. We all work on that. Subconsciously, this is where change happens. And it requires a shift in the paradigm, which requires a shift in, which results in a change in beliefs. And once you believe in something, it changes your behavior forever. Key lessons today. Hope you picked up on those. Hope you enjoyed them. Pete Ramsey here, HVAC Greatness. Add ease to your operation today, and much success. Talk to you later.